Hello and welcome to Bridge Boatyard. This presentation will give you an idea of what's what on board your boat. From the outside we start with securing the boat at the mooring. If you have knowledge of knots, feel free to use one that you feel comfortable with. If not, we suggest you use a figure of 8 knot. Pulling the boat nice and tight to the bank so you've got no gap. Wrap it round and then go over and under, wrap it round once, wrap it round twice, give it a tug, and that will secure your boat to the mooring. Outside your boat you have buoyancy aid, a walking plank, a barge pole and a hook pole. Also on board the boat is 3 ropes, one at the bow, one at the stern and one in the middle. This middle rope is very useful, so when you come into moor, a member of crew can pick this rope up, hold the boat on the bank, stop it from swinging out, while the rest of the crew tie the boat up bow and stern. A bow and stern rope is normally sufficient for securing your boat at a mooring. Before you arrived today, the crew members of the boatyard were on board getting your boat ready, including inside cleaning throughout, fresh linen, fresh water, fuel, toilet servicing. Outside of the boat was thoroughly cleaned. Gas and electric checks were done, engine oil, water, stern gland and battery level checks, and any emergency repairs, to name but a few things that went on before you arrived. Here at the stern is the engine. There are 3 jobs to be done daily. When a member of your crew goes in to the engine bay, it must be switched off, and the crew member going into the engine bay must have the ignition keys for the boat with them. This ensures the engine cannot be started. When going into the engine bay, lift both hatches. Take care climbing into the engine bay. On the left side is a fuel gauge and you can see it reading full. On your return, your boat will be filled by a member of the boatyard crew and you'll be charged or refunded fuel used depending on what arrangement you have with the boatyard. Here is the weed hatch. Only open this if you know what you're doing. More information on this is in the skipper's manual. If in doubt, call the boatyard for advice. Now we come to one of the 3 jobs here in the engine bay. The stern gland greaser. At the end of each day's cruising, this fitting must be turned clockwise twice. Don't turn it back. This pushes grease down the tube and assists in stopping water coming into this area. If there is a little bit of water in there, it's not a problem. If you have a lot of water, you need to come up to the bilge pump and pump the water out. The 2nd and 3rd jobs in this area are done in the morning before you start the engine, and they are checking the water level. Undo and remove this cap. If you cannot see or feel water, top up from the water supply in the galley and replace and tighten the cap. The 3rd job is to check the oil levels. Just like checking the oil on an old car by using a piece of kitchen roll or toilet paper, wipe it clean. Back in, pull it out, checking that the oil is between the 2 notches. If it's below this notch, you need to call the boatyard for advice. In the morning, after the engine checks are done, the engine can be started and this will heat the hot water system. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes to get hot water for showers, etc. When leaving the engine bay, take care climbing out, avoiding hitting your head on the tiller arm. Close down both hatches. You are now ready to start the engine. First, make sure the engine gear is in the neutral position. With your keys, go to the engine control centre. With the key in ignition, turn the key clockwise and hold when the yellow light comes on. This is the preheat button. Hold it for 20 seconds or until the light goes out. And then continue the turn. The engine will turn over and start the engine. Release the key. This will return the key to its running position. All lights except the green light should be out. If the red battery light stays on and there is a whistling noise, you need to go to the gear control. Depress and hold the centre button whilst holding with your other hand needs to pull up the little button under the top and push the handle forward. This disengages the forward gear and you can rev the engine a little. This will clear the whistling and the light will go out. When the whistling stops, return the gear handle to the neutral position. You will hear a click when it is located correctly. To turn the engine off, turn the key anti-clockwise onto the top. The engine will stop. After you stop and switch off the engine during your cruising day for locks, lunch, coffee breaks, etc., when you restart the engine to continue cruising, you don't need to preheat that yellow light. Your engine will be warmed up and you can turn the key clockwise to the bottom and the engine will turn over and start. Your boat is fitted with a heater, and to turn it on you need to have the engine running. You pull out this heater switch and after 3 minutes you can turn the engine off. The boat will heat up, the radiators are preset, so if the boat gets too hot, switch off the heater. You must not have the heater running during the times when the boat is unattended or when there's people asleep on board boat through the night. And to switch off the heater, you literally push this button straight back in again. The boat is fitted with a 12-volt charging point throughout the boat. If you need to use the 240-volt inverter, to use the 240-volt sockets, the inverter switch needs to be switched on. We do suggest you have the engine running while the 240-volt inverter is on. Always remember to switch it all off when not in use. Your trip switch. This is your fuse board for all electrics on board. If something trips out, one of these buttons will pop out. Come to the switchboard here, switch it off, push it back in again and reset it. If it keeps tripping, you will need to advise the boatyard because you may have a problem with your electrics. Coming through the boat, you will have various switches on the side of the boat. These will light up lights in the ceiling and over the beds. In the shower room, the shower very similar to a household shower. To empty the shower, this switch needs to be switched on whilst the crew member is having a shower. This switch will pump the water out of the tray and out of the boat. The toilet. This is not like your toilet at home, so whatever you eat and drink can go down there, along with minimum 2-ply paper. Some has been supplied. Do not use your 3-ply best quality quilted from home. No sanitary ware, makeup, wipes, nappies or wet wipes, or any products that the manufacturers state are okay to flush down toilets. These will block the system, and if an engineer has to be called out, it will delay your journey and could cost you a lot of money. To operate, you do your business. When finished, press the button. This will flush the toilet. On some occasions, 2 flushes may be necessary. Unless pre-arranged, you don't need to pump out the toilet. You can leave that for a boatyard crew member. At the stern, galley and bow of the boat, there are dry powder fire extinguishers. Stern, at the bow, and in the front, in the galley, you have a fire blanket. In the galley, the fridge is on all the time. The cooker, turn the appropriate switch and the ignition and it will ignite. Do your cooking, and when finished, and turn the cooker off, turn the switch back to its original position. If your bed has a make-up bed in the saloon area, you need to remove the tabletop from the 2 big posts, replace them with the 2 small posts from the front step. Tabletop will be lowered, place the cushions accordingly, and the linen for your bed was put in one of your bedrooms. This boat has a freshwater tank which you will have to fill up during your cruise. I will go through that procedure when we go outside of the boat. This dial shows you how much water you have in your water tank, and this switch is your water pump and should be in at this position at all times. If you're not getting any water from the tap, toilet or shower, check the dial is showing you supply, check the switch is in the correct position, and check the trip has not tripped out on the fuse panel. If they're all in order, you need to call the boatyard for advice. Coming outside, in the locker you have mooring pins, a hammer, windlass and a fresh water hose. Water stations are shown on the map by way of a tap icon. When filling up with fresh water, moor up at the water point, connect the water hose to the tap, flush the pipe through, unscrew the water filler, insert the pipe into the filler When the water comes out the top, job done. Turn the tap off, remove the pipe from the water filler, replacing the top, disconnect the pipe from the tap, stow away into the locker, job done. On designated public water taps, this service is free. If you wish to watch TV, you need to put the aerial into this socket. The TV on your boat has been tuned, but due to your location we can't guarantee a perfect signal. If when using the cooker you encounter a problem with the gas supply and need to switch off quickly, come to this locker and turn the yellow key 90 degrees. This will cut off the supply, then you open all the doors and windows and then call the Boatyard for further advice. When you're on the river, you must remember you have to steer the boat. But unlike a car, to turn the boat to the left, you put the tiller arm to the right. And for the boat to go right, you put the tiller arm to the left. To begin with, take your time and get used to the way the boat handles. If when you're going along another boat is coming towards you and is not seeing you, use your horn. And the button for that is located at the pillar where the gear control is housed. Slow down and take evasive action if necessary. You can turn a boat around anywhere on the river as long as it is safe to do so. Avoid bridges, bends or moored boats. On the river, our boats are only allowed to be driven between dawn and dusk. Boats are driven on the right hand side of the river unless you are advised to change sides or in an emergency situation. The speed limit on the river is between 4 and 7 miles per hour. Speed limits are advertised on bridges and signposts on the banks. You must adhere to the limits and always slow down when going past moored boats. You should remember, it could be you sitting moored up having a nice cup of tea or a gin and tonic and you don't want to spill your drink. Where can you moor up here on the River Ouse? There are public, GOBA and EA moorings. The public moorings are mostly in towns and villages, with anchor or ringlet points embedded in the quaysides. GOBA moorings are shown by a blue sign at each end of the designated area, and mooring pins will be needed to moor up your boat. Keep the ropes about 2 metres from your boat. Any further than that could be a trip hazard. The EA moorings are designated areas with posts embedded in the ground, with white painted tops. All of these moorings are free of charge. Hire boats, unless pre-arranged, are not allowed in private marinas or on private moorings. Some private moorings have posts like the EA mooring posts, but with yellow tops. With regards mooring up outside pubs, restaurants, please contact them direct for further information. Locks on the river. In the skipper's manual there is an in-depth details for operations. The skipper's manual, along with other maps and booklets on board, will give you details of where to go, where to moor up, locks, water points, etc. Also, and most important, in the skipper's manual you will find important contact details in case you need to contact the Boatyard. We thank you for your kind attention and wish you a pleasant and happy trip.